5 ways to find inspiration. So if you have one of those days where you're just struggling a little bit, I have them every now and then, and you just need to get out, change something, get a bit of inspiration to work on a project, a task. I got 5 tips for you. Okay, so number 1, I've just said it, is get yourself out or change your environment. So if you're stuck in the same 4 walls, get yourself out, have a maybe walk out with a field, nature, wherever, or just go to a cafe or something. But just changing that environment, it will just spark something off us. It's just a little bit different, a little bit nicer for you. Or it might be just go and have a little workout or just a walk, just to kind of clear the head and empty out any of the trash that is battering about in our heads that we do so often have, right? So number 1 is change that environment. Number 2, grab yourself a book. Like if you're into personal development or you just need a bit of inspiration, pick yourself up a book, especially if it's a personal development one, because you're going to be reading those words, but you're going to be reading it in your voice. So it's going to be really impactful, really empowering when you're reading that back, because it's like you're going to be saying that to yourself. So that's a really good one. It can only be like 15 minutes. You don't have to be like sat there for hours. It's whatever you want to get out of it. So a book is pretty good for that one, even if it's just like a blog post of some kind. So get yourself on an inspirational time slot for reading a book. Next one is getting yourself on a podcast. For watching and listening, so you obviously want a bit of inspiration, so this is good because you get some of my energy, and hopefully that feeds back into you. And again, it's good to read because that's in your voice, but also other people's. When you kind of pick up that energy, you want to go and do stuff. It kind of thinks, what, I'm going to go and do that. I feel like I can do this. I get my self-belief back, especially if you're having things of doubt or imposter syndrome that people talk about. Get yourself around those right people that are going to kind of bring you up. Podcast is great for that if you don't have the opportunity. If you're on Clubhouse, very good as well. Just stick that on in the background. Like, even if you can't quite concentrate at that time, things will go in. So things will definitely go in for you, and you will pick up so much just in that little short space. So I think audio for me is great. If I'm walking into work, you can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You've changed your environment, you're having a little walk around, you got an audio on, you're getting in some good stuff off a book, and has a massive impact on you. And the next one, number 4, I've kind of said it. So it's like your circle. So expand your circle, and we become, I've made a few podcasts on this, but we become who we surround ourselves with. And if you list out 5 people that you're around most of the time, you're going to become like them. And hopefully, of course, like sometimes you've got to evaluate that. Are they empowering for you? Are they lifting you up? Are they bringing you down? It's good to evaluate that from time to time, and are they helping you achieve the things where you want to get to? It's not done in a selfish way at all, because obviously as we grow, I want to bring people with me, but of course I don't want negativity around me. It's just not good for me, and we've probably all been in that environment. So surround yourself with inspirational people. I'm in a mastermind group, I'm in a networking group, and I just find being around that energy, I find it so inspiring. Just sometimes when I'm doing interviews on my podcast, listening to other people's stories and meeting people in that sense, it empowers me. I kind of feel, oh wow, that's amazing. My creativity comes out. Today I had a meeting talking about maybe a great podcast that's coming, a new one. I'm not going to say too much just yet, but really excited about it. Great collaboration. But it was like bouncing off each other, like different ideas, and again, a collaboration is very good because you can pick up different ideas, and you'll be able to put that into like the things that you want to do, the things that you're doing, and where you want to get to. So this probably should be number 1, but sometimes it's not always that simple. We may have things that we got to change to expand our circle, really. Okay, may have to reject somewhat but we'll see. Number 5, I think, write it down. So I've written down a lot of things today, ideas, and sometimes it was just words. If a word popped out, I just wrote that down. It might not got used. In fact, for like what we did today, thinking ahead with this collaboration podcast, had a coffee, put some ideas down, and we just went for a walk, picked up some books, got different ideas from there, and just kind of looked around. And I got to be in the right frame of mind for creative stuff, but this really helped me anyway. Definitely, I was just writing down different words, almost like a brainstorm, and you start ruling out things. I think we picked up a thesaurus for different things, but so depending on where, you know, what it is you're wanting to do, of course. But even that, I think writing down that journal, especially if you've got any negative, you can get it out. You can exhaust that part that's going on in your head that is maybe disempowering you, and it just, you kind of get that bit out. And if I go back to number 4, just having that circle where you've got trusted people that you can are there to push and guide you, you know, lift you up, and say, you know, I'm not sure about that one. You know, there's criticism, and then there's just, you know, negativity. It's, you know, it's getting the right balance, getting the right sauce. Okay, if you're having a nice meal, want the good sauce on there, not the the yuck sauce. So they're my top tips. Well, that's the 5 I've come up with today. But if you've got any other ones, drop them below, because again, this is all about empowering ourselves, empowering others. When you get inspired about something, it makes sense that we inspire someone else. So if you've got another tip, another idea, please drop it in the comments, and let's see if we can make this up to 10. That'd be a great goal today, right? All right, so short podcast today, short video, but sometimes short, less is more, as they say. But to recap, get yourself out, change that environment. You know, you have such a peaceful setting, maybe, you know, if you're sat at home, you should have nice positive affirmations around you. That's great. But sometimes, you know, we still need to come out of that environment and just change it a little bit. That's why I've come out today. Let's do a different type of, you know, video outside in the field. Get yourself on a, you know, get yourself a book when you're reading stuff. If it was Tony Robbins or anything else like that, the Chimp Paradox, things like that I love, or even just like a good autobiography of someone that's, you know, done something so inspirational. You read it in your words. Sorry, it's their words, but it's in your voice. So impactful. Podcasts or Clubhouse, audio books. If you feel like you haven't got time, there's apps you can get where it does a book in about 15 minutes and you get the gist of it. Sometimes even with picking up a book or listening to a podcast, sometimes I'll get something out of it in about 10 minutes, sometimes less in the first few minutes, and I'm like, right, stop, I got that, I can stop right there. But that's just me. You know, you got to work at how it's best for you. Expand that circle, get yourself in a good circle. You know, have that, think of the top 5 people you're spending the most of your time with, how and what is the impact they're having on you. Hopefully, you know, if you were scoring it out of 5 and 1 being there so impactful, great, hopefully you got all 1s. Some people do this drill and they like, if it's family, like generally family counts as 1 person, by the way, like, you know, you live with, but sometimes they can only pick out 3 that they're spending most of their time with. But that's still good news, because it means you've got space for some more people that you can put in there. So happy days. Always look for the good. And finally, oh my gosh, what was the last one? What was number 5? But you guys are going to think of some more. Number 5, check my list just to remind myself. See, I write things down so I don't forget. Keep a journal, but write all these great ideas down. I hope that's how. I hope you feel inspired. Go out and do the things that you want to do and you're inspired to do. Peace, love.